Hey, Jared,
Yes. Hey, Josh.
why do time travelers always try to save the world?
As opposed to going back and killing Hitler or something.
Right?
I don't know.
Or I'd just be happy to remember where I left my car.
Yeah. That would be helpful. Not even the car or the keys.
Keys. But you know who doesn't lose their keys?
Who?
Josh Youngbar.
Why do you haven't?
Did I not tell you this story?
Oh, you can do it with your phone, can't you?
No. I didn't tell you that.
No, you didn't.
Oh man, this one's for Peter. That was for Peter.
Okay.
So when the AirTags came
Friend
out,
of the pod.
friend of the pod, when the AirTags came out, Peter was all excited he got some.
Oh.
And he's like, oh yeah, I can put in my wallet, the keys, so I don't lose those. And I was like, he's like, so you gonna get some? And I was like, no, I don't lose those things. And so then he went home and told his wife, because he was like, of course Josh doesn't lose his keys, like kind of thing. So then every time they can't find their keys, because they both had it on their keys and wallets for their cars.
Yeah.
Anytime they're like, oh, I can't find the keys, they're like, and they go to use the Find My to do their AirTag, and then they both look at each other and they're like, you know who doesn't lose the keys? And then they say Josh Youngbar.
I also don't lose my keys, but that's just if you're very OCD and you just always have to put them in the same spot when you get home.
I think to me, I don't necessarily know to me that's not necessarily an OCD thing. That's more of a, hey, if I always put them in the same spot, they're going to know where they are.
You're right, but I do that with a lot of other stuff.
Put things away where they belong. Yeah. You're always going to know where they are.
Yes. Hot take.
So anyway, I do have a second one.
Okay.
Why do people always say don't step on the butterfly and like time stuff? The butterfly
effect. I don't know.
Meanwhile, I step on a Lego and somehow that doesn't change the timeline.
Feels like it does.
It feels like it should change 10 timelines.
I think it should change something. Man. Yeah. That's a bad pain. It's a unique pain.
It's a very unique
pain.
And anyone that's ever felt it knows.
Yeah.
It knows there's nothing else like it.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome back to Screen Time, a podcast where we're discussing a director's filmography in chronological order. Currently discussing Christopher Nolan. And we are taking our journey to the Odyssey, and we're almost there. We're almost there. Today,
2 weeks.
Today we're discussing Tenet. So Jared.
Yep.
I'll see you in the beginning, friend.
All right.
So my name is Josh, and this is my co-host Jared.
Josh, we live in a twilight world, and there are no friends at dusk.
You've been compromised.
Yes.
All right. So today, if you're new to this podcast, my name is Josh, and this is Jared. And
hello.
We kind of do a breakdown of the show. We kind of do a little overview, details of the film, then just do like some overall thoughts, no spoilers. Then we get into like breaking down the film and spoilers. Talk a little bit of cinematography, the score, do some trivia that we pulled from IMDb, but I curate it to the things we find interesting. Then we discuss like the overall theme and message, and then our final thoughts. So this movie came out in 2020.
Yes.
PG-13, 2 hours and 30 minutes.
This is one of the ones that was
had to
saving
be in the
cinema.
Saving cinema.
Yeah.
September of 2020.
Yeah.
I think
so Tom Cruise was the one that was like, he was filming it, and you remember that video? He was like yelling at the crew. He's like, we got to save the theater.
All right, the synopsis. Armed with only the word tenant and fighting for survival of the entire world, CIA operative, the protagonist, journeys through a twilight world of international espionage on a global mission that unfolds beyond real time. All right, so this was written by Christopher Nolan, directed by Christopher Nolan.
Only him wrote it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, there's been a couple like Dunkirk.
There is now, yeah.
Inception, I think.
Yep.
I think it was just
Which
him.
is the closest thing to this one.
Yeah, they'd be
Yeah.
closest cousins.
Yeah.
Well, and then Memento. Like there's like a lot of these.
I mean, the world, and like obviously we'll talk about like
Yeah.
this is the other one that feels the most like a Bond film too, with Inception. Yeah.
Yeah, that part too. Hoyte as our
Yeah.
cinematographer, composer, a new guy. Maybe you've heard of him, Ludwig
Göransson.
Yep. You know, if you hadn't, he did all the episodes of New Girl, all
Sure
the
did.
episodes of Community, all the episodes of Happy Endings.
Wow.
So
That's-
he's kind of a TV guy, and then he got his big break here on this movie.
Yeah. Tell the audience the crazy fact that
Yes, I have this also.
yeah, this is insane.
So Ludwig has 3 Oscars.
Yeah,
Hans Zimmer only has 2.
insane.
Yes.
And Hans Zimmer's been is at least since the 80s he's been scoring films, and
I don't know about the 80s because maybe. Yeah, maybe.
yeah, I feel like at least the 80s.
Yeah.
But then I mean Ludwig.
I wonder how old.
I mean, those shows you just mentioned are the oldest things I saw that he actually composed for. And it's just, yeah, it's just crazy. But he is one of the best now. By far.
Cool. Well, production costs. What do you think?
Okay. I think I wrote one down. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with this. I write something down, but then I always like want to think about it a second and see if I want to change. But no, I'm gonna go with what I initially had, 200 million.
So close. 205.
Oh, dang.
But very close.
Yeah, there's no way I'm gonna guess 205.
So this says I was just looking,
randomly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You're not gonna guess.
Yeah.
I was just like Ludwig is 41 years old.
Yeah.
He'll turn 42 later this year in September, and then Hans Zimmer is 68 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But he was also born in September, so he will be turning 69 in September.
We're all September.
And you're a September
guys.
yeah. Look at that.
Wonder if either one of them's on the 12th. I'll have to check.
Hans Zimmer is
he?
September 12th, 1957.
That's my dude.
There you go.
Maybe some of his composing will rub off on me. That would be amazing.
Cool. We have 2 Academy Awards, 1 win, 1 nomination. They won for Best Achievement in Visual Effects, and were nominated for Best Achievement in Production Design.
Oh, that's it?
That's it. And very,
That's
very
weird.
interesting because not just in general, I think that's a little weird,
Yeah.
but also there were a lot less films that year.
Yeah.
Because this is for 2020, and there wasn't as many films in the theater.
Yeah. That's
really surprising.
was the Oscars just, I mean, the Oscars was probably just weird anyway
I don't know.
for that time.
But I'm saying there's just been less to pull
There's
from.
less. Yeah. No, that's true. I mean, we'll get to it, but I don't know what score would have been better in this in 2020 off the top of my head, but
Yeah.
the score is incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, that's like one at least nominated. I mean, like,
Yeah.
because that means you got to have like, 5 other things that were better to not even be.
Yeah. I don't know what else in 2020 off the top of my head. Oh, well.
Best Picture was
Like you said, he already has 3. He already won for 3 other things.
Nomadland won Best Picture.
Okay. That should not have
Chloe
won.
Zhao won for Best Director of that.
Okay.
But like again, not being nominated at all is kind of crazy. It's like
It is.
I'm looking at like music or
What was the other films?
editing. It doesn't. I mean, I have to look and see
Oh, it
what the
doesn't
others
say.
nominated. Well,
Okay.
it's saying the winners.
Oh, okay. Because I don't really. don't really know what else came out that year. Like you said, so it was a weird
Original score. Soul.
Oh, that is good.
And the original song, Fight for You, Judas and the Black Messiah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Cinematography was Mank.
Yep, Fincher.
Yep. Film editing was Sound of Metal.
That was a great movie.
Production design was Mank. So
yeah. That's right. Fincher did release a movie.
Sound of Metal also won for sound. So visual effects, Tenet won. Yeah, it's just, again, like it's still weird that they weren't at least nominated
Tenet,
for.
He's Ludwig still should have won. But I mean, Soul had some amazing music though.
Yeah, again, should have been nominated.
Yes,
even if they didn't win.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, but Academy, if you'd like, other more people to contribute, just reach out.
Yeah. Get at least. I mean, Josh has won a lot of. Do you have one still in the shot?
Yeah, but those are not
not
Oscars. Those are.
There we go.
Those are
next to you.
Emmys.
But still, I mean, just in general, you should be on there. Maybe one day.
Appreciate it. One day, yeah. All right, so the main cast: John David Washington, Robert Pattinson, Elizabeth Debicki, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Hinesh Patel, and then Kenneth Branagh.
Himesh Patel. Yeah.
Himesh Patel. Yeah.
Kenneth Branagh. There's one.
Someone else you?
I feel like there is, but I can't think of it off the top of my head.
I find it interesting that they're just all their names, all it ever is their first names. No one has last names.
I know.
And then the main guy has no name. He's just the protagonist.
Yep.
But like, there's not even, because sometimes they might not reference it, but then like still in the script. Nope. They're all
know. It's interesting.
All right. Your overall thoughts on this film and your relationship to this film?
Yeah. So this is my third time watching it. And I got to be honest, I still don't understand this movie fully, but I understand a lot more now actually this time watching it, which I was very happy about, and also played into how I felt about it now. But so even regardless of that though, it's so, to me, especially watching this time, it's so thrilling and the concepts are so interesting that it's just very enjoyable, I think. Even if you don't understand it all, because it gets very crazy. And philosophical. It's philosophical. Scientifical, I don't think that's a word, but philosophical is. Anyway.
Scientifically.
There you go. And the massive scale of the film and visually and sonically is also just so amazing to me in this movie.
So I can't believe it wasn't at least nominated for
like a lot of different things. Yeah, a lot of different things.
Sound design, sound editing.
And to me, it's like, the way I thought about it was like, it's basically like a really extremely high concept Bond film. And the, I mean, even Sator, our villain, is just like the most stereotypical Bond accent. But anyway, so like just this time watching it, because I remember the first time watching it, I was not that into it. And now like this time especially, I was very into it. So cool. What about you? I do remember you going to see this in theaters.
Yeah, so
I did not.
This was crazy. I remember seeing it, I think it was like sometime in September of 2020. Yeah. Again, where you had this, no one could sit next to each other, every other seat or whatever. And
how many people were actually there? Do you remember?
It could only be like 50% capacity. And there wasn't that many people in the theater. And I think I saw it like opening weekend.
Yeah.
But did go see it with my brother and a friend. My son and a friend, not brother.
Right.
You're my brother.
Yeah.
You didn't go with
I didn't go see it. Did you see it with Micah?
No. Sorry. Went to see it with my son and a friend. In theater. And then I mean, yes, I think just like Inception is, but Inception was like not the whole film. It was kind of like the later, like that one level of the brain that was very like Bond-esque.
Right.
This, like the whole film is very Bond-esque.
Yes.
I think that it's very, it's enjoyable to watch. I think I still find it just the technical achievement as I'm watching it of everything is just still hurts my head to think about trying to edit this, shoot this, all the things.
It's pretty mind blowing. Yeah.
But I think why it's not up there with some of the other Nolan stuff is like there's no heart to this thing. There's no, like I was talking about this last week with Dunkirk, and where like you know, you lose a little bit. There's like not as much to attach to it emotionally. This has nothing.
I agree with you somewhat.
This isn't nothing.
I agree with you somewhat, but there's a few moments though that, to me, I actually really felt it this time. And
Okay.
I'll point them out, but I understand where you're coming from, though.
We can talk about it more specifics later.
How do you feel about it now? How many times have you seen it now?
I think I've seen it 2.5.
Okay.
I
So
think
you fell asleep?
No, I don't know if I fell asleep, but I think when I went to go watch it, and it was in the middle of it, and I was like, oh yeah, I did be like, I should rewatch this at some point, and it only made it halfway through the film,
got it. Okay.
like, you know, stopped it and then didn't get back to it.
Yeah.
Because I was like somewhere in the middle, and had to start it from the beginning. But
Okay. Well, I was wondering, just like what I was saying, watching it the first time, how I felt about it, and then watching it now the third time, how I feel about it. Like, how did you feel first time, and then now, like, did you like it more or less? And also, did you understand it more or less? Because the first time I really didn't understand it. Like, I think this movie, you really have to rewatch it to fully grasp it. Probably several times, actually.
I don't know. So, like, I remember it. I feel like I understand it the same amount
Okay.
that I did, where it's like, I think I understand it at the level that it is able to understand it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because at some level, if you start trying to make sense of it too much, it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
So, like, it's like if you can't go too deep, or because it's not real science, but also, and I have some thoughts and notes on like, again, but I mean, it's the problem you run into with any time travel. Like, if you think about it too much, it's like, oh, it just doesn't work. And
yeah, there's always a few things that are like that.
That's where like you start to run into it, where any of the other stuff where you played with time, or you played with different ideas around, that's kind of close to this. There's not time travel really happening, and this, you've got time travel really happening. Now, I love the idea and the foundation of this, because this is, and this is not spoilers giving us away, I guess. I don't, I mean, maybe it is.
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
Are we finished? Like,
Yeah, we can get into it. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're gonna get into spoilers.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen this, I don't know why you'd be listening to this podcast anyway.
Yeah. Come back and yeah.
But all right, the general concept of like, to be able to travel back in time, you have to spend that much time. So like, if you want to go back in time a week, you have to spend a week in reverse time to go back in time.
Inverted, is that what they
they call it inverted, but like, you're basically traveling this, so it's like 1-to-1.
Yep.
Like, you can't just be in a magical time machine and all of a sudden show up 10 years in the past. Like, if you want to show up 10 years in the past, you have to relive 10 years in reverse to be 10 years in the past. And I love that as a concept, because then that makes it so much more grounded in reality, quote unquote.
It's also, the stakes are higher. I mean, even for the character that needs to do that, it's like, I got to do all this, you know?
Now, some things I start thinking about, though, when you get into that, is like, because in the, like, they talk about, if it's on fire, it's actually cold. Like, there's these things that are reverse, and like, you can't breathe the air because you're like, things are messed up. So that's why they have the like
Yeah,
the mask
things,
on,
yeah.
or then they're zipped up into like a little like room specific for it. But then I started thinking of like, how do you go to the bathroom?
Good question.
Like, can you even pee? Like,
Yeah. Does it?
How do you eat food? Does the food work? Like, because if air doesn't work, how does food work? So it's like little things like that I start thinking about. And I'm like, obviously, again, that's where like, you know, the sci-fi.
Yeah, Nolan
like,
didn't get into that. He didn't want to answer that.
You got to get, you got to like.
I hope someone, when they were interviewing him for this film, asked him those hard-hitting questions. See if he actually thought about it all.
The other thing that like I start thinking about is like, because it's not like you disappear. So like anytime you would go in reverse, right?
You're essentially then a clone because you don't just
because that person still
or a copy.
Yeah, so there's that version still keeps going forward in time, but you're now going backwards in time. But then you eventually start going forwards in time as well. So every time you reverse, you end up creating 3 versions of yourself.
Yeah.
So every time they did that, so like in this film, say the lead does it like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, protagonist. There's a lot of him running around.
Like there's a bunch of, and they kind of show that later.
Yes.
And I mean, again, this is getting way out of order, but just kind of talking about the stuff in general.
It's true to the film. We can go out of order. That's like how the film is.
Right. Jump around. But like, I mean, there's definitely a time where, you know, he runs into himself. But I think the most, I don't know, the most like telling is like with, what's her name? Kat. Where like, you know, she's basically, I sent him to the shore. She's like, playing off that she's the real one, but he really the current original timeline, almost like, so to speak, is with the kid, and she's there, you know, and then of course she's kind of trying to get else all done before the boat arrives, and then to reveal that like there's 2 of them. But the feel like it's convenient, like obviously in the movie making, because like the main bad guy, Sator, there's only we ever really see 1 of him, and he really there should be a ton of him running around.
Because for what his plan is,
yes, for what he's been doing.
That is true.
There should be like dozens of him running around. But
I think that was probably a conscious Nolan choice to make it so, because most people watching it then, because they're already probably confused enough. So having too many of the same person running around.
Oh yeah,
of all the characters, that's probably why you didn't do that.
But like. Really, realistically, she killed him, but there should be like a bunch of them somewhere else.
Yeah,
and so he's really not dead.
Yeah, no, but it's more a metaphorical thing, and something to where like the need she has or the desire for it, I guess, for herself and for her soul to do it, to finally kill him. Because obviously, if she really thinks about it, she's like, I killed him, but he's still out there. So, but that's more just like for herself. I mean, she even says, she's like, yeah, this is something I need to do.
I know.
And the thing is also like with Sator, it is so great. I'm just thinking about it because I didn't write it down, so I'll just mention it now. How he dies, because it's like, I mean, especially because of what he does, especially just like the amount of times he hits her and how he treats her is just like, awful. But like, so it is really nice seeing how he dies and how he falls off, and it's just like so brutal.
Yeah,
it's good to see.
But it also let's get into
I just want to mention that because that one I didn't write down, but I have before the plot, I just have a couple things. I don't know if you wanted to get into
start talking about.
I just wanted to mention
stuff in a little bit more chronological order.
Yeah. We don't want to get too crazy. John David Washington, his performance as the protagonist is so good in this film. It really stood out to me this time watching it. And also, I'm sure most people know, Denzel Washington's son. And there is some Denzel that comes out at certain moments, which I love. Like the way he says certain things and kind of his mannerisms.
Yeah,
I saw at times, which is awesome.
He probably hates it, but
probably
as my son does every time he does something, and he's like, "Oh my gosh!"
Of course, yeah, right. Well, I mean, also he wants to be his own type of actor. I'm sure, like
But it's, I mean,
People
you
saying
want to be
that to
your, I mean, I
him,
remember
yeah.
even as a kid myself, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're like so much like your dad." And
Yes.
it's like, on one hand, it's a compliment,
Yeah, of course.
Our dad's a good person, and but at the same time, you're just like, but I want to be my own person.
Yeah, but then the older we get, we do more stuff like dad. Or we have more of his mannerisms. At least I've noticed that.
It's just, those are just old man mannerisms.
Yeah, that is true.
They're
That's
not
part of
unique
it.
to him.
Yeah.
It's just being old.
And then the other, yeah, it is. But then the other thing I wanted to mention is just two really cool things I saw. It's theories, but I thought it was really cool and interesting if it's true that Aaron Taylor Johnson, who's Ives, is the younger version of Michael Caine, that character, which is really cool to think about. Which Michael Caine, it was great to see him in this. I forgot he was in this. I guess is the last thing he did with Nolan because I don't remember him
I
in
forgot to write him
Oppenheimer.
down. I didn't write him down.
It's only one scene.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's sitting down the whole time.
Yes.
Though it is funny when he orders food and then he's not staying there. He's like, "Can I take that to go?" And the guy's like, "No, absolutely not."
That's a great scene. Their banter.
A little like slight humor there.
Yes.
It's
But
like,
anyway,
this
so
is
it's
fine
a-
dining. You don't get it to go.
No. It was just cool. Like that's a cool theory to think about if that's true. And then the other one is, which is even more interesting, is Neil, our guy Robert Pattinson, is actually Kat's son grown up. which
I
think
saw that,
that's really cool if that's true.
and
These are both just theories, though.
Yeah.
That was not confirmed, but
yeah,
that one's really interesting.
yeah, it's very possible. The hey, let's just
Opening scene is. You want to mention that?
Yeah, I was just like going to talk about this. Think again, this just reminds me of basically the Batman movies, the 3 Batman movies, where you just have this like ridiculous
Yes.
opening action scene, and yeah, it's kind of wild.
This one's really sick. Yeah, I love this opening.
And
Nolan does this a lot.
You get I mean, you kind of get Inception too, but
Yeah.
it's yeah, I mean, it's what we talk about, like even these TV shows, like, right, like that sometimes they feel forced, like obviously when Nolan does it, it's scripted and meant to be that way, but like some of these other,
Oh, you mean it's
it's
the
obvious
most exciting thing up front?
yeah,
And then
it's like 3 months
10
prior,
years ago, yeah.
or whatever.
I hate that.
Yes, but like this is obviously, these are scripted to be that way.
Yeah.
And it's because it is a smart tactic to get people
It is.
in, and then also in Inception, or this case, but this case even less. Your Inception, they kind of start to explain a little bit, and it's like brings you into the world, right?
Yeah.
There's just a little tease, because there's like that little hint of like, what the heck did I just see? Or like the bullets reverse.
Yes.
And you're like, whoa, what was that? And then, but then it's gone, right? And then that's like it. So it's like just a teeny tease, and which we can argue was that a good idea or not? Like, I feel like, should there have been a little bit more
Waiting
just
for that.
No, I'm saying like it should have been a little bit more, so that you're already brought into the world a little bit more.
I see.
As a viewer, because really at that point, it's kind of just like this like throwaway thing that just teases. But yeah, but it's also it was just like, it's a cool scene. Otherwise,
I love it. I mean, I'll mention it more when we get into the score, but just awesome. It's one of the first things we hear is the orchestra warming up, and then like seeing all that unfold. Yeah, Nolan does it all the time. Yeah, what you already mentioned, and he's really good at hooking you in right away. Yeah, the worst example is what you were talking about, and I think Netflix shows do it the absolute worst. But it's just for people's attention spans, and I guess also because there's so much stuff on Netflix, like they want to get you in right away, and then they'll do the 3 weeks ago after that, and then it's like forever until you actually get back to that point.
Yeah, and then we get this wild scene because he gets captured, and then he's just them and another guy on like these train tracks, and he takes a cyanide pill that like is classic like secret agent
Yes.
things, like, hey, if you get captured, kill yourself instead of giving up secrets. and then, but it turns out it's like not. It's just like a coma-inducing thing, and then you 3 months later he wakes up or whatever, and
and this guy here is when he first just tells the word Tenet to him.
So again, and this is where it starts to be like, and I think this is like I was talking about with third time viewing, it doesn't go deeper because you start going deeper, like there's no real foundation to the story. And this is like where he just says, I have one word for you, Tenet, and that's it. And like, what do you, I mean, come on, like,
I know, and he can't say any more about it.
He says, I can't say, well, he says I can't, but like, but he could, he's just saying he can't.
Yeah.
And then he's supposed to figure it out from there. Like it's like those kind of things. It's like, it feels like half the movie's missing. And it's like, we don't have time to like explain or build this. Cause that guy, you see him, which that's another actor that like looks familiar. I didn't write down.
Yeah,
but he's there, like he's only there for.
Yeah, he was only there in that scene, I think. He's been in a lot of stuff, but I think he was in Insomnia, one of the first Nolan films, I want to say. But he's been in a lot of
something
things.
I did mention. I thought about, didn't write down, and then because I was like, oh, I'll remember to write. It's across the board, other than like Michael, like all new people.
Yeah.
Like he's not like this is like all of a sudden it's like, let's just wipe the slate clean of like the people I've worked with in the past and like to work with.
Yeah, it's true.
Other than Michael Caine, but like again, probably because he was getting old and was like, this might be the last time I get to do something with him. It's all like all new people that he hasn't worked with really, and which is interesting because we see how often he just reuses people.
I know, and I would like to, especially John David Washington. I would like to see him in another Nolan film.
It's true. He hasn't used him after now.
No,
Patterson. He's in
Pattinson for the Odyssey, and Amish Patel too. I believe is going to be in the Odyssey. Honestly, Elizabeth Debicki would be perfect in the Odyssey. Yeah, especially just like a tall woman like her. Like, she'd fit in well. I don't think she's in it though. But
it was interesting because like I don't know that I've seen her in anything else other than The Night Manager.
Oh yeah, she's great in that.
But yeah, she is. But then it's like the freaking same thing.
Same thing, yeah.
Like
very Bond. Yep.
Because that's very Bond as well.
Yes.
So maybe she needs to be in the next James Bond movie.
Yeah.
She's probably getting a little too old, quote unquote. And I say that quote unquote because like she's not old, but like but like especially if they're rebooting it and they're probably using somebody younger, she's probably a little too old to be like the main.
I feel like she
could be like a side one that's like sexy motherly.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I feel like she probably was in one of the Daniel Craig ones. I don't know why she wouldn't have been, but
they should have. There was a missed opportunity.
Yeah. But so what you're talking about, kind of all new actors for him, but then our next film, Oppenheimer, then he brings back
everybody,
like everyone, because it's such a huge cast. Yeah. And same with Odyssey, just a big ensemble. Like, he kind of, even just for like one scene, he just brings pretty much everyone back and then adding more.
Really, like this is the first time he hasn't had Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, I think so.
And like since he started working with him.
Yeah.
And of course, then he's the lead in Oppenheimer, and then he's in the Odyssey.
Yes.
Too, right?
Oh, is he in the Odyssey? I don't know if he is in the Odyssey, actually.
Oh, maybe he's not.
That's the only one. Him and Tom Hardy both, I don't think are in the Odyssey, as far as we know.
Okay.
They could show up, which would be awesome.
I'd be surprised if they did. Yeah. Just like, even if it's just like stunt casting.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Cool. Anyway, yeah, so he's quote unquote dead, but not. But these sequence of events is just so, like, again, watching it the third time, it starts to like, this is the part, like, it really just kind of is like that guy, and he's like Tenet, and then he's like in a windmill thing, he gets picked up, and then he's like talks to the one lady randomly that's like, here's how a bullet in reverse goes, and then like
that's the next thing I want to mention.
And it's cool.
It is.
And it's moving quickly, so you never feel bored.
No.
But there's no there's no emotion in any of this. Like, there's no conversation of like anything more than just like, here's a word, here's exposition. Here's
So you're saying it feels like cold or somewhat soulless?
yes.
Okay.
That's why I said there's no heart in this.
Yeah.
Because it just goes from one thing to another of just the action or the information you need, and there's no like through like Inception. I think, and I remember us reading in trivia for Inception where Leonardo DiCaprio actually had ideas on the script and gave it a lot of influence on how his character was going to be.
To add more.
And he said he was talking about emotion and and you know, and for that whole time, you know, he's trying to get back to his kids, and he's dealing with the trauma from his wife, his deceased wife.
Another Nolan staple, dead wives.
Yeah, dead wife and getting back to your kids, which is like also
getting back to your kids too.
Interstellar. He's trying to get back to his kids.
Yeah. Now the Odyssey.
Dead wife.
The Odyssey is going to be like that.
Yeah. So
not a dead wife, but getting back to your family.
Yeah. So yeah, it's common trope. But like this, like our lead has no, like it's like he's got no heart and motivation, anything.
That is true.
And then like even though there's supposed to be some romantic chemistry, there's no romantic chemistry with him and Kate, or Cat, whatever.
The only time I feel it with him is at the end, which we'll get there with him. But no, you're right. There isn't much emotion with him. I mean, he's very like driven to do what he needs to do. But no, there is some moments though where, at least I did feel the emotion, especially at the end. This time, watching it.
And see, I think I felt it less this time than the first time.
Interesting. Okay.
Because again, like I think I started to feel all these holes, and like the like any emotional structure to the story is like barely there. It's a skeleton, and so like the more repeat viewing, like you really start to see those holes where the first time through, because you're getting so much that you don't pick up on it as much. For me, I think.
Well, I actually, to that point, this scene, the first demonstration of inversion, I guess, protagonist asks about cause and effect and free will, which all that stuff, like this philosophical, those kind of things that this film gets into, I love. And obviously, there's a lot of philosophical nature in a lot of Nolan films, whether more upfront or just more not a central theme. But it's still there, though.
This is getting a little ahead, but that's all right, because I think he's bringing up. To me, this is a predestination like dream of a movie, because that's basically a lot of this concept is the same thing as what in predestination, meaning like, hey, you know, God has it all planned out, and you're just playing a part of it. Yeah, and that's basically it for me. That's, you know, what kind of wrote it down. The message is like the film, like whether you believe in God or whatever reason, everything's kind of planned out, and you're just playing a role in it, and you can't really change it. Yeah, and I think that's kind of what the idea of this film is. But,
well, and I love the Seder line when he's talking to protagonist, and he basically Seder's saying like, "I am a god," and I don't know. The exchange is great because basically protagonist is like saying like you're crazy for like not only what you're doing, but basically how you envision yourself right now. But so that scene, the demonstration, this is the main point I wanted to mention, because it's another thing I thought about this time, which I think will help viewers watching this film to get more out of it. Because I kind of had this mindset going into it this time, even though I did actually find a lot more deeper meanings and understood all the technical stuff a lot more in science parts of the film more. But there's a line she says, "Don't try to understand it, feel it." And I think that's kind of Nolan telling the viewer that we can think about it way deeper, but we don't need to. And like, don't think about it too much. And even the concepts and all that, don't think about it too much, but just enjoy the ride of the film, which is like kind of where you're going.
Just
on.
Vibes.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I think with a lot of people, I think that'll help your enjoyment of it.
Yeah.
It's just go along for the ride.
But it's, I don't disagree with you. I think that is the approach you need to take here.
Yeah.
But then it's like, it's such a high concept
I know.
sci-fi thing that like it's almost asking you, like it's being, what's the word I want? Like, you know, like it's contradicting itself. Because it's like he's saying that, and I don't disagree with you. I think he is saying that, like at some level, like, and we'll get into some other stuff in the trivia that kind of reinforces that.
Yeah.
But like, it's like, oh, don't think about it too much. But then it's like, but then I'm also going to throw this crazy concept at you that you're supposed to think about. Because otherwise, if you didn't think about it, you wouldn't even be able to understand the movie at all.
Yeah.
And then enjoy it. Because like if you were like, turn my brain off, then you couldn't enjoy this movie at all.
No, but you still could because of what I was saying up top. It's so visually and sonically pleasing, and mind blowing.
But I think to follow the plot at least somewhat,
yeah, of course,
you have to like understand what's going on.
You gotta connect someone with the characters. Yeah, I know.
Not only connect with characters, but like understand the time travel stuff and like understand it at some level, and then you start understanding. If you're thinking enough to do that,
yeah,
like you can't like you can definitely, I mean, I don't know, the Fast and Furious movie or something, like, you know, you can turn your brain off,
yeah,
and just enjoy the visuals, right, in the action.
I would have to watch those movies. right. I would have to turn my brain off.
You can't turn your brain off and do that. If you turn your brain off and do that, you would be like, what the heck is going on? Now, if you're just going to watch a one-off scene and just and be like, oh, that was a fun action scene.
Yes.
But like to actually watch the 2.5 hours of this movie and be like, okay, I enjoyed the movie, you got to turn your brain on some. And so that's what I'm saying. He's contradicting himself. He's like, turn your brain off and don't think about this too much.
Yeah.
But then I'm going to give you this complicated plot that you need to actually have your brain on.
No, you're right. It's just that line. I just mean for some people that maybe just watched this movie and didn't enjoy it because they didn't understand it. I was just saying, like, that line, I think, just helps like get you in the right mindset that you can enjoy this film more, maybe even if you don't understand it fully, if you go into it in that way. But you're right, though, it is both, though. You need to, and that's why I like, because I understand a lot more of it now, that's why I think I really enjoyed it a lot more this time. Because like I said, first time watching the movie, I was kind of just like, I wasn't into it that much, and now I'm really into it. So
all right, and then we get to meet Neo kind of after this, and which is like a you know, interesting character that kind of just shows up as well. At least he sticks around a little bit. And then we get the heist or whatever. They basically go to the Priya character, and
there's three, I would say, like really big, awesome, like set piece action scenes in the film. There's more than that, but there's like three main ones. Yeah.
I'd say more than three.
Really?
Yes, but go ahead.
I would say, I mean, of like the big ones, and this is the first one that, and yeah, crashing the plane, obviously.
So we got the opening one.
The opening one?
The opening.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
I would count that. I would count this.
Yeah.
This like heist into the, and then there's the crashing of the plane. There's the car chase.
Yeah.
And then there's the end.
Yeah.
So 5.
Okay.
That's what I would count.
Yeah. I guess I don't think the other one's as big of a. The three like are the main ones. Is like, yeah, the heist, the car chase, and then the temporal pincer move. That's what they call it at the ending. Yeah, those are the main three. But yeah,
you don't count the plane crash as one then?
No, that is the first one. The heist, plane crash.
Oh,
that's the first one I was saying.
Then the car. What about the? So you don't. So you're not counting then when they infiltrate the house with like the reverse bungee jumping and like the catapult.
No, that one's not as big, but I mean it is an awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what because that's what that first thing that he does with Neil.
Yes. But it,
Yeah, because
anyhow,
that one I could argue that's not a big set piece, but it's the very like classic spy thing of like having to sneak into a facility and but it was visually really cool because of the spectacle of that, like practically catapulting themselves to the building.
Yeah, that is really sick.
Which is not, and what's crazy is like visually it almost looks like they're reversing time,
right?
But at this point they haven't done that.
Nope.
And they're just normal. So
it's just playing with the laws and physics of the world, I guess, at that point. So this is also the first really sick, which we revisit a lot, it's very important, the really sick kind of reverse looking fight sequence with the bullet holes in the glass. This is the first time we see that during the heist. And that was the first time that plays out. And I also love that it starts with protagonist saying it hasn't happened yet. So he's already aware of that part first. I guess because of the scene before that when the lady is explaining the inversion and all that, and him shooting the gun and all that. But yeah, anyway, that's the first time we see that. Very important, like I said, that we'll revisit.
Yeah, so they crash the plane, blah blah, and then they get in there, right?
Yeah, and it mainly plays out in the hallway,
but he just sees
the glass,
and then they get attacked, and they have to fight off these guys, and then and they get out, but they so
because later that we revisit that scene, but then it's forward. It's forward when he's fighting that guy one-on-one. You remember? So this is during the heist is the first time we get this with him fighting the one guy, the bullet holes, and then in the hallway where he like falls down and he's doing like that reverse crawl thing, and they're fighting back and forth.
But he's not in reverse.
No,
it's the other guy, which is him. But like,
yes,
you don't know that at the time when you watch it the first time. But it's just
cool getting that and then seeing that again way later.
Right. Oh yeah. No, I mean that's
awesome.
That's the whole thesis statement of this. I mean, if I was pitching this film, it's like this, the moment that, and that's why you have this crazy action sequence that you basically get to revisit.
Yes.
And redo it again in the second time in the film.
But it's still just exciting because of how it plays out.
Yep.
And like,
and little like reveals of different things.
The reveal too. Yeah.
Of like, which we can talk about it in both because it's like silly to jump back around because we don't need to, but because right now and you don't know, but he's like fighting himself, blah blah blah. But then because the car chase kind of happens shortly right after, it's kind of all like when it comes back, it's like because that like leads to it first, because that's what leads like how they come into it is then they're driving. Not in reverse.
And basically trying to get the MacGuffin. Yeah. Which I forget what it's called.
Sorry.
But yeah, it's the...
Because the first time the scene is... the way they enter the action scene is they're in the plane.
Yeah.
Getting ready to like crash it into... And they're sneaking in, right? The second time they come into the scene is they're in the car chase. Because that's when they have they're trying to get the MacGuffin out of the one truck, and like he's on the fire truck, and then Neil is driving the BMW, and then he gets back in the BMW, but then that's when you start seeing, which is some of the sickest things, the reverse driving.
Oh man.
And so because this is like layers 3 times, because you get this sequence, and then you see him driving backwards, and you're like, oh, it's because then you have Sater. And then he ends up giving him the thing to save the girl, which this is the part. This is one of those things where it's like, why does he even care about her? Like, because there's like that. That's where these things fall apart, right? Like, it's like there's no emotional like.
No, you're right, and also technically, because he's already done it, he could have gotten the MacGuffin at any time in that scene. You know, it's like stuff like that. Yeah, I agree. You're right. Those kind of things.
It's like when you again, and to Nolan's credit, most of the time in all his other films, I would say the more you watch them, they're so deep and they're so dense that you unveil layers. But this
Especially
is like, but this film, I feel like yes, Prestige. I think Inception. There's a lot of them that like kind of do that. This one, I feel like you peel back too many layers and it starts to be like, oh, there's nothing under here. And that's where I was starting to feel that this viewing, I think. Okay. And this is another example of like, oh, why does he even care? And like I said, because it's the emotional layer that I think is just doesn't exist that on this. And that's where it started to create holes then in the story for me. And this is one of those where it's like, what this guy, I mean, does not, I mean, one person, like, right, like, why would he, there's no relationship. Like if you if you're like, oh, he's in love with her, then you're like, okay, then I understand you like giving up the whole world and trying to save her, even though that's still ridiculous. But like, you know, but you at least that happens in movies all the time and you like relate to it. You're like, oh yeah, if you care about somebody that much. But this, like, you're like, he doesn't care about her like that. Like, you don't feel that. And so then you're like, why is he risking everything to save one lady?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know, other than it's just that's the trope of a James Bond movie, and so he had to put it in there. I tell that.
Yeah, because I mean, ultimately, he's. I mean, he wants to. Yeah, he wants with his algorithm essentially destroy the world, or I guess keep it inverted. I believe.
Yes,
and that's what he does in the future.
It creates the polarity to like keep it going in reverse. Just to destroy it because in
which
the future,
is also why then
because in the future
protagonist creates the Tenet organization in the future
to help stop this
and which he doesn't know.
The whole premise is that in the future the Earth is so in bad shape that they want to go back and take and get things in reverse so that they're able to live in an Earth that is is in better shape. Anyway, so in this car scene though, he throws the thing to him, blah blah blah, to save her.
Yep.
But then you have that third car that's in the middle.
Yeah.
That then that is him again.
Yep.
Right. But like, you don't know it when you're watching it and they don't show you inside the car enough to know that's him. And then this plays out and goes in a bunch of things and she gets shot. And then this is when he finally decides to go through the little turnstile thing and go into reverse. Right. Which, the first time he walks out and you start seeing the world in reverse is so awesome. I mean, I like visually, like
amazing.
But then eventually he gets in the car and he's driving that car.
Yep.
And then he's there. The other thing I noticed right when they first get in the BMW, I know there's a quick shot of one of the side mirrors is already busted. And later it reverses out and it gets fixed.
Yes.
Because that's from,
yes.
It's like, it's crazy. Those little details are crazy.
Yeah.
And again, like from a spectacle standpoint, this film is
I know. It's mind blowing. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. So you're saying this one is the third time?
Yes.
He attempts it. And then my question is though, like, if it doesn't play out right, like, couldn't they just run it back again? I don't know. Like
you can send somebody back again. I guess
you could, just keep.
But then it's like, this is where.
I mean, it's a movie though, so you have to keep going.
Are you creating additional timelines?
That's where you
run into. I mean, like Loki show, right? When they're dealing with all that, it's like
you see all the branches,
multiverses, and branches of timelines.
Yeah,
and it's like, I mean, that's the problem with time travel, right?
Yep, that's true. Yeah,
but anyway, it's that scene.
The car though, specifically you're talking about, is like that's so. Yeah, and then crazy
it comes back through, and then you're like, oh, he's there too. Basically, he's there twice.
Yeah.
Again, but that's where I start thinking about at some point in this mess of things. I was like, well, why are we only seeing one satyr and never like two satyrs? Because there should be a bunch of him.
I don't know. Yeah. Like I said, I think the only reason why is just to not make it too crazy looking.
Yeah.
or just too much chaos
I mean, yeah.
on screen.
I mean, it's, again, time travel issues.
Yeah.
So I guess, I mean, the main thing is after this, he realizes there's something more here than he's figured out. And then, because then he goes to the Priya lady again and is like, you've been lying to me. You're not telling me. Yeah. And then she kind of gives you the full thing about the logarithm you were talking about. And
Yep.
And then
I think that's the scene, or it might be a later scene with her, that protagonist and Priya. But there's a moment where she mentions to him about the Manhattan Project in Oppenheimer, which I was like,
this is here. Yeah.
Was that scene?
Yep.
Oh, that's right, because she talks about it in relation to the algorithm. But I was just like, oh, that's really cool. Foreshadowing for his next film.
Next film, yeah.
Which we didn't know at the time.
Yeah, we didn't, but he probably might. He probably did.
I'm sure he did. But that was cool.
Well, or at least it's like, something that was on his brain already.
For sure. Yeah.
So then this last part of trying to make sense of this, of like, he wants to get us to, like we were talking about, to get the reverse permanently, the flow of things coming in reverse stronger than the forward.
Yep.
And then he's going to kill himself. Because like part of like making that happen is killing himself.
Yeah.
But he's dying of cancer anyway or something.
Right.
But then it's like, couldn't he just go back in time and live forever if he wanted to? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, like, right. Like,
yeah, I didn't really think about his motive or how the,
like, why
the
does
best way to
why
play
does he
out
care
his
about
thing.
helping those other people unless it ultimately helps him, right? Like, I mean, like, let's be honest, like, like in general, people are selfish nature, but especially a bad guy is like all about himself, right? So like, how's that help him? And that was the part that was like, that doesn't make sense. Again, on the third viewing and thinking about these things deeper, it's like, I don't really understand his motivation. Like, we really don't understand his motivation as a quote unquote bad guy. And so that's where, again, it lost me a little bit. Whereas like the first time viewing and taking it at a more surface level, because you're just taking it all in, it like all was like, oh, okay, you're
just enjoying the ride.
So
the only other thing before the ending, because I forget where exactly it happens, but it's just it's very effective scene, but brutal also. Like the interrogation scene, and when Sator actually does shoot Kat, it's just brutal, because like I remember they say it early in the film where it's like how much more painful it is if that happens. And I'm just like, oh, and then she just plays the scene very well too. But yeah, that's a brutal moment as well.
Yeah, you're right. And then they travel in a sea container for like a week or two, so they can go back in time.
Yeah,
just living in a sea container. And then I put, because in there was like one of the worst lines that she has to say. So Robert Pattinson talks about, and that's when he's explaining about the thing in the reverse, and like the whole world's gonna basically be destroyed, blah 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 blah, and he's like saying all this stuff, and then she just says, "And my son."
Oh no, I do remember.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah, that was a bad take.
It's bad writing. Like so this is where it's the other thing that like bothered me is you're supposed to.
You mean the stuff with her and her son?
Yeah, like how many times they tell you she cares about her son, but you never see her care about her son or feel that she cares about her son. She just talks about it.
They mention it a lot, yeah.
And it's like, and so then, and this is like, and then so that line doesn't land. Like it'd be fine if you up until that point you're like, oh yeah, I've seen it. She really cares about her son, and then, but no, because this movie does no room for emotion and character development. It's just action and exposition is the whole movie. And there's no room for the other stuff. When she says that line, it lands so flat, and it's not the actress's fault at all.
No, she's amazing. I did notice at this time, you're right, where it's like the amount of times that she mentions to someone like, I need to do this for my son. I'm like, all right, we get it.
But again, we don't. We get it, but we don't.
Yeah.
We don't believe you. We get it, but we don't believe you.
But I still disagree, though. I mentioned, and especially the ending. Like, I don't agree that there's absolutely no heart in this film. There is some stuff with the ending.
Yeah,
I do.
Well, we're almost there.
You think? Yeah,
we're almost there.
Temporal pincer move is the whole final big setup thing.
Yes. Yeah, which is crazy. I mean, again, like
this is amazing though.
The timing of like, oh, we're gonna have this set of team going in reverse and this type of team
the red
going
and
forward.
Blue, right?
Yep, red and blue. And then they're gonna meet and they're all timing their 10-minute thing
crazy.
So that they can all hit those things at the right time, and it's like all to make sure that the logarithm doesn't get buried.
That I don't know.
Like it was kind of like that's the part that like I still was trying to understand like what was they trying to stop, because it was all like they had to do it before he killed himself.
Yep.
Which then also was the kind of the aha moment somewhere in there where you were like, oh, he was trying to kill himself earlier.
Yeah.
On the boat, like because you're like, why did he fall off the boat? And it's like, anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. So like, but it's still cool. Visually insane,
amazing,
sound design insane, like because like you've got like all these bullets flying and stuff, and it's like when it's in reverse, when you're with the reverse people, it's that stuff's reverse. I mean, that person getting trapped, the guy seeing like the rubble, and then and he's like, oh, move,
gets
move,
trapped
move.
in the wall.
One guy gets trapped in the wall. Yeah,
that was
it's like just that building exploding and imploding at the same time.
That's
or whatever.
the other one that really stands out.
Just like crazy stuff.
Well, also when he first walks out and the stepping in the puddle, that thing, that was a really cool visual, like that stood out. I mean, there's so many though that like when we get to cinematography, it's like it's pretty much everything in the film is like just some sort of spectacle in some way.
But I do remember early on, I think it's in the first time of the heist at the airport.
Okay.
You see the quick shot of the little orange tag on the backpack. Then is the first
red string.
Is it red? It looked orange to me. But yeah. And well, it's like a string. There's like
it's on Neil's backpack.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you see it again laying there on the ground though.
Yep. Yeah.
Before you realize, and you're like, oh, but
I think it's a red string.
Yeah, for some reason I thought it was like orangish and it had like a little loop on it at the end and just like a.
Well, I mean, I don't know the way it,
but it doesn't matter. Like the little like it's just something to stand out.
Yep.
And but I like it's funny. I clocked it, even though I guess it'd been long enough since I watched it last time that I didn't remember all the way through the end of like what it meant. But you
do remember that?
Like in the moment watching it, I was like, oh, that's got to be a standout.
Yes.
And then like later you start picking up on it and it's like, oh yeah, okay.
And that's also why it's that color, because it does need
something to stand out.
Yeah.
All right, so basically he kind of ends up going in reverse. Like it's supposed to just be the protagonist and the other guy,
Neil or Ives.
No, Ives going in reverse,
right,
as like the special ops like mission.
Yeah.
But then Neil decides to change course and go in reverse with them to help him out. Mm-hmm. And well, he kind of like realized he's the one in there dead, but saved him, helped him, because he's laying on the ground because of the backpack. Mm-hmm. But then that happened already, or it's going to happen by the time at the end where they're saying goodbye.
Yep.
And this is probably the part you're talking about that is emotional.
It is.
Which I would say for me, it's still very, very flat and like not because, but I mean, I could see where there would be a little bit there, but also intentionality, because for the protagonist, he's just met this guy and has only known him at this moment. Mm-hmm. And that's where he's kind of like, I'll see you at the beginning, friend. Mm-hmm. And like I kind of pulled the like longer quote for this because I think it is really
yeah,
good.
I have it written down too.
All right. Well, if you want to read it, because I also
Well, no, yours is probably long because I only have a certain amount of it that really stood out to me.
But also, this is just something that's said throughout a couple times is lying is the standard operating procedure.
Yes.
Which I thought was kind
Great
of
line.
funny and just like, okay. So protagonist says, hey, you never did tell me who recruited you, Neil. And Neil's like, haven't you guessed by now?
Mm-hmm.
You did. Only not when you thought. You have a future in the past. Which is a crazy way to talk, but it's like works in this film, right? You have a future in the past, years ago for me, but years from now for you. And the protagonist is like, you've known me for years? And Neil's like, for me, I think this is the end of a beautiful friendship.
Yes.
Which is also kind of, I mean,
great
all
line.
all this stuff is great dialogue that, again,
you still didn't feel?
No, and not the way it should. Like, this should land like very emotional. Like if this film had the emotional structure or foundation throughout the film, like this could be crying at this, right? Like you like realizing this, right?
Yeah.
But otherwise it's just like oh, that's interesting, like you kind of wild, Anyway, Neil's like, for me, I think this is the end of a beautiful friendship, and the protagonist is like, but for me, it's just the beginning. Yeah, and he's kind of like, yeah, like, and then we get up to some stuff though. You're gonna love it. You'll see. The whole operation is temporal pincer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and then protagonist is like, whose? And Neil's like, yours. You're only halfway there. I'll see you in the beginning, friend.
Yes.
And this is like that as a concept, and all the thought is like, blows your mind, especially the first time you're watching it and you're like, oh my gosh, yes, they've known, he's known him forever, but he's been working backwards in time for so long.
Yep.
And they kind of been working together all along, but he's been going in reverse a lot of this time. And then he's going forward, and you're like, oh, okay, this,
yeah.
but which is a cool idea. And then the other thing I wrote down was, what's happened, which is an expression of faith in the mechanics of the world. It's not an excuse to do nothing.
Yeah, that's what I wrote down.
Which is also cool, and that's kind of like, again, very faith-based. It's like, to me, someone who believes in God, like it's like, yeah, God created this stuff, and yes, we are in his plan. And so,
but
like,
we still have free will.
Yeah. Yes, we have free will, and it's not an excuse to do nothing.
Yep.
And yet, what happens, like, Aaron dying of cancer, or Bud dying, or, whatever, like, things happen. What happen, but it doesn't mean we just like do nothing. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's a beautiful sentiment of like the whole idea of this movie. Right?
It is. And that's the part that I wrote down, because that's the part that hit the hardest for me, and I actually felt it there. I mean, of course, that could also play into, my own life, but between them, even though, like, I
guess
I felt it some there.
My point is, as much as that hits home for me in my own life, I still didn't feel it in this film, and that's where I was like, oh my gosh, like there was just.
So Josh is dead inside, is what
no.
we've learned. No,
the thing is, like, I'm not normally. Like, stuff really does like hit me more emotionally than the average person. So like, I don't know. I think this, and I know this is like not just hypothetical thinking, if he did this as 2 films or 3 films, or did it as a mini series instead, like, not that Nolan probably ever do that, but like, taking this concept, but like no one would want to sit through a 5-hour movie at one sitting. But if you were like, imagine if you just took the first act, kind of like where you learn about it, but before he ever goes in reverse himself, right? And it's just like that, and that's a film, and they, you'd have to figure out how, like, okay, we're going to end it, but then still leave things, and then leave room, if that's a 2.5-hour film, and you leave room for character development and things, and then you come back and watch the second film or third, whatever, however you break it up, but then you've got you're kind of flowing into this concept, and already, and then it's like him being able to get access to the first time to being able to go in reverse himself, right? And letting that play out. I mean, again, like it would just, I feel like if you had the room for the emotion and turned this into a 4 or 5 hour total thing that was like 2 films or, yeah, I think this stuff could like allow room to breathe for that stuff. And then it would, something like this would like just hit you so hard. But that's just my.
Well, I mean, that being said, though, I would love to see a sequel to this film. I think that'd be cool if he ever wanted to revisit it. But I know, like, there's a lot of his films that he could potentially. We talked about in Inception too. I mean, there's plenty of his films that he could do more with if he wanted to, but he might not ever. I don't know. But
yeah, both Inception and this.
Yeah,
you could do it. You could have totally different characters.
Yep.
And just bring the concept back in.
Yes.
And just be another, thing in that world, or pick up where you
new mission.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a lot easier than some of the other ones to do sequels on.
Yeah, like as much as I love Interstellar, like that doesn't warrant a sequel.
No.
Same with Prestige.
Yeah,
like that's a
Prestige would be hard
a very
to do a
complete
sequel.
film. Yeah.
All right. Any other stuff on that before?
Nope.
All right. Let's get into a little cinematography.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we always end up doing this. We talk about some of the stuff.
Yeah.
I think the biggest.
There's so much in this, especially.
I mean, again, one of the things we talked about, and I think some of this is Hoyte doing even more, is just like the scale of things.
Yes.
And we're talking about that in Interstellar, I think, is, we first really, not that.
And that was the first one he did?
Not that Fitz.
Yeah, that was the first Hoyte one. Yeah.
Not that Fitzer didn't do it good, but then it's like, this is like amping up to another level.
Yes. It really is.
And I think you see that again in here. Well, we saw it in Dunkirk some too, but you really feel it in some of these scenes in this as well.
Yeah. And we're going to really feel it in Odyssey.
Yes.
It's going to be crazy.
Yes.
Oppenheimer's supposed to be more intimate besides the actual bombing, the test. Yeah. But a lot of that
character,
is more
character story.
It's just dudes talking in rooms.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of that film. The incredible explosion in the opening scene I want to point out in this film, but I don't have many notes because it's just like everything is just like so. That's why I said kind of the word, the spectacle of it, and just like
well, like the James Bond, the locations, like, I mean, and it's I mean, again, it's like humorous again this third time through, and maybe I'm a little more critical than I would be with a James Bond film, but like the whole, just like he sleeps in that windmill for like now visually the shot of like all these windmills in water and like just looks cool, right? So like that's really half the reason you're like, someone scouted it and was like, hey, this is a cool looking thing, and let's film here, and makes no sense otherwise. Why is he even sleeping in a windmill? Why is there even a bed in a windmill? Like, you don't just do each windmill need a person to maintain it? Like, I don't know. I don't know, but like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, it's not like a lighthouse where you have somebody like in the old school days where they'd have to maintain it. There's just a bunch of windmills. Like, it wouldn't seem practical. You had to hire a person to live in each one of those windmills just to but anyway, but like visually it's cool.
Yes.
And then he gets picked up in the boat and like, and you're like, okay. But again, it's just like kind of, and then later we're there again and it's running in reverse, the boat, and like, which looks cool as well. But just logically doesn't make sense. Like, but that's like, but anyway, so we're jumping around. We're randomly in India, or like we're just different places, and it's very like James Bond-esque, right? Like it's just like flying all around the world to these different like visuals.
Well, I would argue the James Bond comparison there's just as many like silly, just like set aside or plot holes in pretty much every Bond film, if not more. If you know really like
Right. No, that's what I said. I
So,
think, but like
yeah.
those, because you almost go into it expecting it. It's like I'm not as critical about it in those films as much because I think it's like, oh, it's what you. I don't know, because like I don't like if that happened in a James Bond film where he was just like in a windmill, and like then like and then someone picked him up randomly.
Yeah.
I would not think about it as being like as much of an issue. But in this film, I'm watching it and I'm like, why is this happening? Like, other than just for visual interest, you know? But anyway,
the other one that stood out to me was the, well, I already mentioned, all the big ones are the most important as far as like just mind blowing visually. But a small one that stood out to me this time was I love the shot of the protagonist tied in the chair on the train tracks. Also, like very dark lighting there, but it was just a really cool look, like straight onto him. The shot of it, really cool.
Also, the first time he steps out in reverse, and it's just kind of like
that's another big one. That's just saying it's stepping in the puddle and it going up, yeah.
And the seagulls just going in reverse. It's just like little things. Just inverted fight choreography.
Yeah.
Is crazy.
It is. That's what I mean. It was so cool. It's so cool that one in particular you see.
Yeah.
In both ways.
Yep.
The one you see at the beginning and then you see it later. Played out.
Especially, I feel like the second time through it feels more wild. Like one from that perspective.
Yeah.
Because like they feel like more stuff's in reverse that you're watching.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's more like wild, but then also because you're understanding completely what's happening.
Yeah.
You're like, even though if you've seen it more than once, you know. And I remember when when I'm watching and I'm like, oh, this is, him later, but in reverse. But like not much looks reversed as in that first time through. It's like subtly there, but it's not as like intent. And
it's just some of like the punches. I know like they look like a little silly at times in the opening one, but that's because of the reverse nature of it. But then, the one that stands out the most is the way he crawls on the ground in that first one is just crazy.
Yep.
Or he's kind of like scurrying back. I don't even know how to explain it. It's just like, yeah.
Yeah. And then, again, we talked about the highway chase, the car chase.
Yeah.
The highway is just insane. Like to have stuff like going in reverse and forward. And
then the one you mentioned in the big final one too is the building that it's two different parts of it. Right?
Yeah.
And it like kind of implodes on itself. It's like, yeah.
Well, it's like almost like one part's exploding, other part's imploding. And it's wild.
Yeah.
And then Chris just as I guess classic Nolan, like most of it looks practical. There's doesn't look like there's any CG. I'm sure there's CG, but like it doesn't look like there's any CG because
no. And then that's the other thing is that it's cool that so much of it is to make it look just more mind-blowing. Is like it's not like that fight scene. He's just like, all right, we'll just reverse this in post. You know what I mean? Like it was all like you said, the fight choreography. There's so many times I know like the building. It's like they had to do it two different ways, and then like essentially, I guess comp it together is how you would do it.
Probably, yeah.
It's like it's really cool.
Because because
that definitely looked like they actually blew that up. And
I remember when this film came out. I remember that like someone was interviewing the editor.
Okay.
And it's just, I think it was a female, if I remember correctly, that and she was saying, like she's never, nothing had been more challenging to edit than this because then they were reversing a lot of stuff in post as well,
right?
Like, and just playing with that, but then some stuff was shot, people acting in reverse, and like, so, like all the layers of that, and being able to keep track of it, and is pretty wild. And then just, I'm sure, again, I don't know how you watched it, but like, I'm sure half the stuff was shot in IMAX, but I don't know the difference because it doesn't change.
Yeah.
Unlike
it does change. Yeah.
It doesn't change in my
often.
version. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you watch the Blu-ray, it does.
Yeah, which is, I wonder, like, why is
They do that
the choice?
Why they do that on the Blu-rays and not on the digital,
Yeah.
like purchased ones? I don't know.
Or at least be able to change the version on the Blu-ray. I don't know. Yeah, it's just,
Well, either or should give you. I mean, especially
the option.
the digital version is like, well, they can give you both.
Yeah.
It doesn't
I don't know.
But yeah, there's a choice there that I don't know.
yeah. As far as I know, like I was mentioning, when Blake and I watched Interstellar, there was no option to, for like different versions of that.
Mm-hmm. Same on the digital side, like and I have the official ones from quote unquote iTunes or Apple, like that has like a menu and all that stuff, and some of the extras and all that stuff. But
and there's no option.
There's no option to be like, let me watch. With the IMAX extended scene or whatever. Score. What do you want to talk about? Score.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
how do you feel about this score?
I like it. I feel like I remember liking it more than when I watched it this time.
Okay.
And I'm not sure why. I mean, it was still good, but I was like, it didn't have any of those standout themes. I think is where you would like some of the Hans Zimmer stuff does that they've done that he did with Nolan, that like has like these like things that you really want to play back and listen to. But it was also like there was times where it was like, oh, that's interesting. Like they're definitely doing some reversing of sounds and instruments, and I'm like, you kind of, so it's very technically interesting, but like, I think that's about as.
No, that's true. I don't think there is really any themes with the melodies. Maybe intentionally, I don't know, but like even that aside, it's just the sounds, like what all he does with it. Obviously he does do a lot of reversing, which just sounds cool anyway, and I mean I do that a lot in my own music because it's very easy to do, and in Logic I'm sure it is in Final Cut also, but like to just
the reverse clip, any editing software,
so it's just cool to try and
reverse a clip.
So there's a lot of that in there too. The score as a whole, it's so hard to explain the style of it because it's like it's futuristic sounding, it's unique. It definitely feels ahead of its time, I think, score wise, and which is interesting because it's only 6 years old, but it's just the sounds that he uses in particular are just incredible. There's a lot of ones in here that I'm like, I would love to figure out how he did it because I would like to use them, but it's very genre bending. I mean, it's mostly electronic, which I love, but it's just in particular, like I said, the sounds he comes up with, which also I would say that, and the other one is in Blade Runner 2049 and Dune. Like the sounds that they've created or come up with, or even making actual instruments for new sounds, is just like I just love so much.
Who scored Blade Runner 2049?
That was also Hans Zimmer.
Okay.
He had a co-composer, but it was.
I knew he did Dune, but
right. Yep.
Yeah, the Blade Runner is good too. Yeah, that sound is good.
One of the best. So it's just. I mean, they're adding even like hip hop elements in it, which is very cool. This is where I wrote down the diegetic sound of the orchestra warming up. in the opening scene is really cool because then it does blend right into the score right afterwards. It's just a really cool choice to do it that way. Yeah, a lot of reversing we already talked about to fit the core theme of the film. And then the only other thing is with the actual main, I guess it's the only way you could call it a theme, is because I do revisit a few of them a few times later in the film. There's most of them are very polyrhythmic based. There's a lot of polyrhythms in it, which I always love. Makes it sound, it's hard to explain, but it makes it sound a certain way to your ear when you're hearing it. It's almost like playing, also plays into time, which is also probably makes sense why he did that in this. Just really cool. Yeah. And then the in the credits, Travis, I think it's Travis Scott song. It's just him, but Ludwig made the music for it. Really cool song. You hear that actual song earlier in the score, but then there's just vocals over it, over the credits.
Gotcha.
Which is cool.
Cool.
It's just crazy how amazing this score is, but then this is not one of the ones he won for.
Correct.
Still won for 3 already, though.
Yeah, and it's still crazy he has more than Hans Zimmer, but
I know.
All right. Not that I would say they both should have more. I guess is really my point. Not that they.
I agree.
So, I wonder how many John Williams has.
Oh.
Yeah, I know, but I just
I don't know. He stopped counting, I bet, at this point.
All right, let's get into a little bit of trivia. The production team purchased a and then crashed a real 747 airplane into a hangar. The stunt was all practical effects with no visual effects or CGI. Nolan had originally planned to use miniatures and set piece builds. However, while scouting for locations in California, the team discovered a massive array of old planes, and it became apparent that it would actually be more efficient to buy a real plane of the real size and to perform the sequence for a reel on camera.
Nice.
That's wild. It's more efficient than building the miniatures and stuff.
That's crazy.
In addition, okay.
No, I was just saying that, I mean, it's amazing the result of that, doing it that way. It's like worth it.
In addition to performing stunts backwards, the main cast actually learned how to speak in reverse for their roles.
Oh, right.
And so not only did Kenneth Branagh, not only did he have to learn how to speak backwards, but he also had to do it with his character's Russian accent.
Barry Bond Russian accent, yes.
Yeah. But this is something we didn't talk about. The conversation, especially when he shoots Kat, and that whole conversation where it's like
interrogation.
Interrogation. Like when you hear them talk in reverse, and then it's like the echo through in like non-reverse, and then when you see the scene from the other side later,
yes.
Like, yeah, just crazy.
It is.
Crazy. The technical achievement is like insane. With the coronavirus pandemic hit the United States in spring of 2020, the film's score was roughly 8% finished. I mean, 80% finished. The only thing it really affected was an orchestral session that was scheduled for in April. As a result, part of the soundtrack was completed by putting together individual recordings of the musicians in their homes.
Yep.
So they had to do
a lot of scores they did like that around that time. There is not a lot of orchestral parts in the film.
Just
though.
Reversed.
Oh yeah, I mean, he definitely, I'm sure he did that too.
It was recognizable. Yeah. All right, this is wild. So the Opera House was actually shot in Tallinn, Estonia, at Linnanshall, a venue that was originally constructed for the 1980 Moscow Olympics, when Estonia was part of the former Soviet Union. The building hadn't been maintained for at least 10 years, so the production designer and his team had lots of work to do before shooting began. They rebuilt the stage, polished the concrete, and also rebuilt some of the outside walls.
Wow.
Additionally, they had to repair the doors and replace a large amount of the glass and deal with the audience seating and carpets. So they remodeled this whole building.
Everything.
refurbish this whole building just so they could film there. It's another crazy thing.
That's okay, and that's why I'm glad I went with my guess of like the budget, because I was like, this one has to be high. But yeah, 200 million, 205 million though.
So, yes, and then this is the other talking. We kind of talked about this, but this is the first Nolan film since The Prestige, which was 2006, not to be scored by Hans Zimmer. The composer turned down Nolan for the first time in over a decade to score his longtime passion project, Dune Part 1.
Mm-hmm.
He then was replaced by newcomer Ludwig, who had recently won an Oscar for his work on Black Panther.
Black Panther, right. Yeah, it's just that moment in time is so important, because what they both even did right after that split is incredible. So it's like we got the best of both composers' situations there.
The production budget of $205 million is making it Nolan's most expensive original film and one of the most expensive original films in history. When it was first released. I mean, I guess maybe it's changed.
Yeah.
The film was not based on any previous existing material. It is Nolan's second most expensive film overall. The Dark Knight Rises was at $250.
Yep. I can't believe that one was $250. That's insane.
Robert Pattinson revealed that he did much of the stunt driving for the film, including one of the particular sequences shot in Estonia, where he had John David Washington in a BMW with an IMAX camera rigged to the hood. This meant that he could scarcely see anything through the windscreen, and slight turn would result in the rig hitting the road.
But they didn't break another IMAX camera?
I guess not.
Okay.
So this film has only 280 visual effect shots. That's less than most modern romantic comedies.
Yeah.
This is also the lowest for the director Nolan himself. The Dark Knight had 650. The Dark Knight Rises had 450. Inception had 500. Dunkirk had 429. And this only had 280.
That's amazing.
Nolan is a huge fan of Bond, and that love of the spy genre flows through this movie. That being said, Nolan actually tried his best not to watch any Bond films that may overly influence him while making Tenet. Working on Tenet. This was the longest the director had gone in his life without watching a Bond film. The reason for this is that he wanted to work from a memory and feeling of that genre. He was trying to do this on his own version, to have this be his own version of a James Bond movie, but was instead attempting to create. He wasn't trying to make his own version of a James Bond movie, but instead attempting to create the excitement that many people felt from watching a Bond film when they were kids.
Oh, cool. That's a cool idea to do.
Yeah. Although the movie is not meant to be scientifically accurate, it is based roughly on some actual physics. Before filming, Nolan asked physicist Kip Thorne, who he worked on Interstellar a lot with, to read through the screenplay to help with some of the concepts.
That's what I mean. Like, so it's still like scientifically plausible as much as it could be.
Yeah, I guess
in some areas, which I always appreciate, because I know Nolan's a very intelligent guy, but like, yeah, that's very important in all his films.
Ludwig incorporated Nolan's own breathing as part of the soundtrack used throughout Sir Kenneth Branagh's villainous character. The sound was achieved by Nolan breathing heavily into a microphone, and then Ludwig manipulating that into uncomfortable and graspy sounds.
I love that.
Yep. So last film, it was his watch ticking.
Yeah.
His wristwatch. No, it's his breath.
I wonder if there's anything in Oppenheimer and the Odyssey. We'll see.
One of writer and director Nolan's filmmaking traditions is to gather together the cast and crew before production and screen films that served as inspiration for the project.
Yep.
For this film, however, Nolan intentionally broke this tradition and didn't host any screenings. This is because he wanted the cast and crew to work from a feeling and memory of a spy genre, as opposed to trying to recreate it. This included the James Bond films. which we talked about already.
Yeah, that's cool. So he did that for himself, but then also for the cast.
Yeah, it was like, no, we're not going to do this. Throughout the film, the color red is used to indicate time going forward, and blue is used to indicate time inversion. This is a reference to the Doppler effect, by which bodies of light traveling away from the Earth appear as red, and light waves are stretched outwards, redshift, and bodies of light traveling towards the Earth appear blue as the light waves are compressed together.
Wow.
So, which means, like, is it a red tag? And then that means he's not in reverse at the time?
Well, yeah. I guess that plays into it.
Yeah.
I imagine.
The word tenet presumably originated from the Satyr square, a word square containing a 5-word Latin palindrome that dates back to the ruins of Pompeii. The puzzle is 5 by 5 square made up of 5-letter words written in 5 lines: Satyr, Arepo, tenet, opera, and rotus. In every direction the square is rotated, these 5 words appear, both horizontally and vertically, in a property that fits the time inversion of the feature of the film. Also notable that all 5 words appear in the film.
I was going to say, yeah, I know all those
Obviously,
words.
character is, Vanna's character is Satyr. And then
we got Tenet.
And then we have Tenet is
the word.
Yeah. And then the forger responsible for painting and Kat, Elizabeth's former lover, was named Thomas Arepo.
Right.
And then of course we had the opera house, and then Rotus is the name of the security company.
Oh, right. That's right.
All right. Apart from several of the film's lead actors, the final battle sequence involved the entire stunt team and 100 of extras. Given the demands of the action, as well as the very nature of the hot temperatures, they were one prerequisite for all the background players. They were required to be ex-military. This was put into place because of the stunt team knew that the extras were going to have to be in full military fatigue with guns and gear for 10+ hours per day in the desert heat, adding to the task they would be running over a hilly terrain, literally with rocks and concrete, with carefully placed detonations going off all around them. So they're all the extras are ex-military. Okay. Well, that was it for trivia.
Very cool trivia.
Yeah, some wild stuff. So, themes and messages. I think we've actually kind of hit on this a lot already.
We did, yep.
But I just reiterate, the predestination concept, I think, is like, where does your choices matter if the future is already written? Suggesting that the purpose comes not from changing fate, but embracing your role that you were meant to play.
Mm-hmm.
And this is debated often in religious connotation, like, if and then of course it's like, if you go down that path too far, it's like, well, then what's the point if it's already decided? Everything's decided.
Yes.
But obviously that's not how we should live.
Nope.
But anyway,
not at all.
Anything different to add there?
Yeah, the word I use, but it's the same thing: determinism versus free will. But also I was thinking about the concept of time, obviously, is a huge thing in this, but I was thinking about it in the terms of how we try to manipulate it in our own lives and, like, grasp onto it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Nolan was playing with that in relation to his own life. And then also, I think, which this also would probably be because of Nolan's family, his wife and his kids, but the film is also about family and defending and protecting your home and your family, and also, like, well, from Kat's side, and we'll see that obviously in the Odyssey coming back to him, just like we already talked about in a lot of his films. That's a big theme as well.
Yeah.
So you still got a decent amount of core themes and stuff you felt in it, even though how cold you think this film is. And
I think it was philosophical themes, not emotional themes.
Sure, that's true. I think there's a mix. It is a lot of philosophical, but I think there is some emotional as well, somewhat.
Any final thoughts? I mean, I feel like we've said a lot already.
We did. This might be one of the longest pods we did.
It's definitely a record. Yeah, it's definitely longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or one of the longest 2-person pods, I should say.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
It is.
So, what are your thoughts? We always sometimes I forget to say this up front, but you can give us your feedback or thoughts.
Yeah.
A couple ways. You can email us at feedback@screentimepod.com, or just leave a comment or DM if you're watching this on YouTube or on the social media. And of course, if you don't already, please like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. All Screen Time Pod. And next week we will talk about Oppenheimer. So, but if you'd like, you can follow each of us on Instagram. I'm at JYoungBar.
And I'm at Jared Youngbar.
All right. So then, when we talk about next week, we'll continue our journey to the Odyssey. We're almost there.